Hi guys, let's go through all the other BitMEX pairs. I got ETH USD up in the charts now, and we've confirmed a higher low here. So we've got the first part of a weekly trend change, but to get a full trend change, we also need a higher high. So just the way that this last week closed, it closed with a bit of bearish momentum, or a few bears stepping in, and we failed to close above any of the EMAs. So I'm suspecting this could actually just be a minor pullback before we continue lower. And if we do close below the 190s or 200, we could actually even start heading back towards the previous low all the way down here under $100. But I think really it's the fate of Bitcoin that will probably drag Ethereum with it. Time will tell. We'll see how the next couple of weeks close. But initially this one looked pretty strong, and a close above $230 could have possibly been the trigger to set this one off. But yeah, weekly is a little bit iffy for me just for now. We'll switch down to the dailies and the lower time frames, see what they can give us. Daily looks much better for the bulls. As you can see, we've got a really nice break and retest of this 200 level. Not only is it a nice round number, but it has actually been solid support and resistance with many bounces off it. And we've also got a support and resistance zone here, so even if it does sink a little below $200, I won't be going full bearish. I'd want it to close below around about the 180 mark. So break and retest of the daily 50 MA, which has been really nice support and resistance as we've been going. So this could just be a minor pullback before we attack 230 and beyond, and if we do, it is looking good. So that's just one candle on the weekly chart, but the overall picture on the daily looks much better for the bulls. 4 hour also looks pretty good for the bulls, guys. We could get a bounce here off the 4 hour 50 MA, but I do expect it to sink back to around to the $200 mark. Also the 0.38 fib, so we should get a bounce here. This is a strong run, so if we have an Elliott wave correction, even if we do enter along around the 200 mark, we get a good strong bounce there. You know, we're looking at bouncing off 200 and getting a retest of 210, and if we do make a lower high here, we know that we're in for a deeper correction and 200 will come under threat. So it could be a short, sharp, long trade, and if we do continue higher, we can trail it up. But if this is actually a correction and a weekly does play out bearish, you know, there's still a little bit of profit on that one before we need to close at a lower high and then start targeting the lows. So I won't jump onto the 1 hour chart, not really a great deal to see on that one. But Ethereum, a little bit on the fence, but it does look pretty good on the 4 hour and daily for another little bullish run. I've got Bitcoin Cash weekly chart up now, guys, and this one doesn't really show a great deal other than this weekly close here. Closed pretty weak. The bulls weren't able to push right up to 0.033 level, previous resistance, previous support, now resistance. So I would have liked a candle like this a little bit higher, a nice wick rejecting the weekly 20 MA, much like this candle here, would have given me a little bit more confidence in shorting this top of that range and heading lower. So at the moment, just no man's land, but the lower time frames do indicate a bearish trade could be on the cards. So we'll flick down lower now to the 4 hour and see what we've got. This is actually the 1 hour chart I've got now, guys, not the 4 hour. As you can see, we've got a reasonable level here. It's only intraday, so it's not overly strong, but we do have 1, 2, 3 rejections of this level. We've now broken, and a retest here could give us a nice little short. It'll be a short in and out trade. The 4 hour and daily don't really give us too much, and the weekly is a little bit undecided. So this one would be a little bit more risky based on the higher time frames. And then we've even got more touches here along this level. So pretty strong level to break. Looks like a correction, but this run here does look like it's overcooked. It is slightly overextended, so just want to be careful we don't get a deeper pullback that closes above this horizontal level here. So Bitcoin Cash I've got an eye on, but yeah, it's a pretty risky trade just for now. We want it to really show its hand. Litecoin weekly up on the charts now, guys. This one's really interesting, I think. After this beautiful low test candle here, followed by a doji, we had some bullish momentum come in and looked like we were in for a deeper pullback, possibly to the weekly 20 MA, or maybe even if I drew some fibs in there, we could get a longer target. 0.38, that's a fair way up. So, but at the moment, the weekly closed pretty poorly. It wasn't able to close back above this previous horizontal level here. It's only one decent touch there. Could even be a little bit higher here, but it did close below, so I think it was short-lived, possibly a dead cat bounce on this one, and we could be in for some more downside. So we'll flick to the lower charts. It's a little bit messy, Litecoin. I don't see an opportunity here immediately, but yeah, the bullish move did not have much grunt to it, that's for sure. Got the daily chart here up on this one now on Litecoin. Not much to see on this one. We failed to get back into this zone just above here where we had a nice accumulation level before we popped out and went on that huge bullish run. But at the moment we've just rejected the daily 50 EMA. Looking pretty bearish at the moment and dropping back into this support zone. So midterm, nothing really to trade here, long or short. Lower time frames we may get something, but yeah, interesting that we weren't able to get a deeper pullback on Litecoin. Here's the 1 hour up here, not a great deal to see. This level here goes back a fair way, so we have crossed below that. This run is overextended, so we do need a pullback. If we pulled back here up around 0.073-ish region, we could sneak in a little short and get a short run. It does look a little bit overcooked, and it's possibly a falling wedge as well. Where can we draw this from? It's pretty tight, but it's there. So not overly clear on Litecoin at the moment. Not really a level there. That level as well is pretty minor. It's chopped through that level a little bit as well. So yeah, it's definitely correcting. So a pullback, a lower high here, and then we should go deeper correction wise in the lower time frames, and the weekly chart did not finish strong, so I don't think there's much bullish momentum left in Litecoin just for the short term. I think we're going to head back lower down to these previous lows around this mark. So I just want a little pullback now on this one before we consider a short, just to make sure that this falling wedge doesn't break out and we do actually head for another leg up. EOS now, guys, I've got the daily chart up here. I didn't pull up the weekly, there's not a great deal on it. This horizontal level here, it's not overly strong on the daily. It's had a rejection here all the way back, but we've got a nice break and retest here, but that bearish momentum that's just closed just below the daily 50 MA, I seem to think that this level here is under jeopardy, and we're actually just going to head lower again. Really nice little break and retest for a long. It was one of the first altcoins to move actually. Usually EOS isn't one of the first, it does lag behind, but it did most certainly take off. So dead cat bounce in my opinion. I don't think this has got momentum to head higher, much like Litecoin, but we just want to watch this daily 50 MA. If this next 1 to 2 days do close back above it, I'll be neutral. It's probably just a little consolidation sideways chop area that's not really tradable. So we'll whiz down to the lower time frame, see what we can find on it. Alright, 4 hour on EOS, and looks like we've got a 4 hour trend change. We've got a double top here, a slightly lower high possibly, but now we've also got a lower low. So a small pullback to the 4 hour 50, and this horizontal level here would be a nice place to enter. So this one will actually be on my watch list now. This horizontal level could actually even be a little bit lower to about here. Double rejection there. A little bit of a false break and rejection there, so we did slightly bounce off there, so we were just closed on it or just below. I'm just watching carefully now, but I think this should correct now at least to this previous low and possibly all the way back here. So EOS is on the watch list. This should be a nice trade hopefully. Okay, Ripple time, guys. This is the weekly here. Much like Litecoin, like it finished the week really poorly. Looks super strong. We got on a nice big long trade off the reversal. We got in at a great entry, but it pretty much retraced there, and that candle looks ominous, like we're just in a weekly no man's land area here. So the next target is all the way down here at about 1500 sats. So I think the next week or two are pretty important for Ripple. Otherwise, we're just going to end up probably drifting all the way down before we flatten out fully. So we're possibly finding a support level here. We'll see how this one pans out. What can we trade though? Let's have a look at the lower time frames. We've got the 4 hour up on Ripple now. This one's probably a little bit of a waiting game. This level here is pretty strong, and we've closed it with pretty good momentum, so a break and retest to enter a short would be good. We've also got the 4 hour 50 there, but it's not very good support and resistance. It's been chopped through all the way here in this consolidation area. So consolidation, accumulation zones, EMAs aren't very good. As you can see, they get chopped through. They don't really get used as support and resistance. In a trending market, they're perfect. Pullbacks and touches of EMAs are great places to enter shorts, as you can see all the way down here. So we'll see what comes of this one. I'll be interested in a short on this one, but this run is well overextended, so I just want to see where a pullback ends. If we pull back and close above this horizontal level, I won't be too keen on trading back into it, but yeah, it is looking like it will drop probably back down to the bottom of this range. So might be a little bit hard to catch a trade on this one, but it's definitely looking pretty weak in my eyes. ADA weekly chart now, guys, same thing. Look at that candle, just no bullish staying power. Bears stepped in, closed out pretty weak. Also no man's land. This chart only dates back to here, but a different chart. I've got this level here at about 280, 290 sats as the bottom. Are we going to get there? I don't know, but this isn't very good support structure on the higher time frames. The next 1 or 2 weekly closes, like Ripple and Litecoin, are pretty important to determine direction, but for me at the moment it doesn't look too good. Let's have a look at the lower time frames. Daily chart now on ADA, same thing. We topped out here, bears stepped in, and now we've got bullish momentum closing below the daily 50 EMA. So we do have a couple of higher lows here and a higher high, so technically we've got a daily trend change. I just think the momentum to the downside is still pretty strong, so we've probably got a mid-level here, probably a bit more clear on the 4-hour and daily, and we've closed below that. So I think if we can close this, so I think we'll target this little tiny trend line here. We'll have a bounce off here. If we close below here, we're going to sink a fair way, I think. So I think this one's going to be possible to trade. Let's have a look at the lower time frames. Yeah, this is a 1-hour chart here and it looks pretty good. It's a little bit choppy with this horizontal support and resistance line, but we've got quite a few bounces there. So we've now got a break and retest. We could be getting this death cross come back in again. Not that it means too much when it crosses over quite regularly like this, but I think a nice pullback to the 1-hour 50 EMA and this horizontal level should give us a nice short. Let's get that out of the way, and we can target that previous high here maybe. That would be our first stop. That's a 5% move, probably get 10x leverage on that. That's 50% trade, that's pretty good. We'd have a look at something like that back into this trading zone here. So from here we should hit the bottom of the zone again. Tron weekly chart, guys, as you can see, same as the last few alts, just a minor pullback before the overall bearish trend continues. A nice bottom here, not at weekly support or anything like that, so I just think this is just a short-term dead cat bounce, pullback before we head lower. Same thing, the weekly close pretty weak. We weren't able to close engulfing. Bears are still floating around, so are we going to look to short it? Absolutely, I do definitely want to short Tron. Let's have a look at the lower time. Got the daily here, same thing. We did just touch the daily 50 EMA or close just above it, but then we got some bearish pressure come straight in immediately and closed it. So I think this is just a minor pullback. We're going to head lower from here. Yeah, there's no support structure here. We did get a slight higher high, but yeah, I don't think there's too much in this as far as bullish movement. We've got the 4-hour chart up now, guys, and this one does actually look pretty good. It's got pretty good horizontal support structure on it. So we've got a double bottom here. We did hold support here for a little while before we dropped through. So now we've got a break and retest, also breaking and retesting these EMAs. So if we do get a bounce here, we could try and push this a little bit higher. So I think I'll wait for a short before we break back below 160 sats thereabouts, and then we've possibly got this trend line to deal with. If we do break 160, break and retest 160, down we go. So a little bit premature for a short on this one. Could actually even be a long, to be honest. So just a bit of a close eye on Tron. But really, at the end of the day, I think Bitcoin holds the key for everything that will decide the fate of all the altcoins together. You just saw the weekly and daily charts on Litecoin, Ripple, ADA and now Tron. They all look really similar, so I all think they're going to move the same. Hopefully they do give us a clear direction and entry point, and we should be able to enter quite a lot of these trades all at the same time. That's it for all the altcoins for today, guys. Just sitting patient just for now. Hopefully we get some pretty big moves soon. We're definitely well overdue. The longer it consolidates, the bigger the move is when we break out. So we're just waiting for that. Hopefully we get some nice clean entries to start collecting some sats.